Hello and welcome to another fun Excel tutorial slash walkthrough. And today we're going to talk about all things filtering. So filtering and sorting are really basic things that are used every day in Excel, but we really have the ability to do some cool things and do some deep dives into our data sets if we used advanced filtering and the filtering dynamic array functions. So today I'll give you a quick review of just old school filters, and I'm going to talk about advanced filtering. And in our next video, we'll talk about using the dynamic arrays function filter to really do some fun stuff. So let's dive right in. So the data set that we're looking at right now is a data set of construction. So we have different construction projects that we're going to work on. Some are residential, some are commercial, some are government. And depending on the kind of construction it is, it's going to have a different estimated amount of time it will take to complete that construction, right? So we have our start date, our estimated time, and our estimated end date. Then we've got some deliverables. So we have the actual end date of our construction. So if the end date is past when we estimated it, that's what's popping up in red. We have our estimated budget, then we have our actual expenses. And if we came in under budget, it's showing up at green. If we came in at budget, there's no change. And if we're over budget, it's showing us red. Okay. So if we wanted to just explore certain aspects of this data set, one of the things we could do is just filter it, just a classic old school filter. So to do an old school filter, there's not much to it, right? So I can go to the date tab, I can go to data tab, and I can go to filter. And when I do that, I have the ability to select, just like you would on the internet, one of these things, and it's going to just show us whatever we've selected from that category dropdown. So now a couple things about filtering that you probably already know, but I do want to touch on is that filtering is non-destructive. It's simply taking the things that you want to see and filtering out the things that you don't want to see. Think of it like in a coffee filter. So when you make coffee, you pour the water through the filter, and at the end you got coffee, but you do still have the grounds. And that's sort of why this turns into a filter-looking icon right here. Okay, so with regular filtering, you have to go through and then set whatever criteria you want to use to filter, right? So if I want to do a specific amount of days, I can jump over here. And because this has the date format in it, it gives me date filters like so. And I have all these special ones. If I have something that's got a numerical value like cash, it gives me different number filters like over here. And if I just have basic words, I don't have much I can do, but I do have some text filters, right? And I have the ability to search. Now, if I don't like my filter, I can simply turn it off. If I want to turn it off, I can either click clear or turn off filters completely, and all my data goes back. I never delete anything, okay? So what I wanted to show you was another way to filter, which is handy if you're doing multiple criterion while you're filtering. And I'm actually going to jump to a blank version of this, so you can see exactly what I mean, okay? So filters are already turned on here, and we know if we wanted to filter our data, we could simply select what we want to see from the list if we click one of these drop-down menus. But I'm gonna do something different here, and this is, the filters are turned on because this is a table. It's been formatted in table format already, so I can turn that on, turn that off. So let's just turn this off. Okay, so I want to show you a new feature called advanced filtering. Well, it's not new, but a feature that's not used a ton, which is advanced filtering. So notice in the sort and filter group here in the ribbon, you've got your regular classic filter, but then you've got this other option here that just says advanced. So I want to touch on what you can do with advanced filtering. So advanced filtering, anything you do with a basic filter, you can do with advanced filtering, but you also have some additional features that are really, really nifty. So let me show you what I can do. So I'm going to create some criterion space here. So I'm going to take type, we're going to pop this up here, and I'm going to take, let's do start date. I'm going to pop this up here. And for now, we'll just keep these two things. Okay. So let me show you what you can do with advanced filtering. So say I'm interested in just residential builds. So I can jump up here and I'm going to type residential, and hopefully I spell that correctly. Okay. So we'll just start with that. If I click inside my data set and go to advanced, it automatically selected my data set like so. Okay. I have the ability to select my criteria range. Let me move this over so you can see it. And my criteria range is going to be these things right here. that we've just created. And then I have the option if I want, see where it says copy to another location? I can do that. We're going to hold that for now. For now, I'm just going to click OK, let you see what it does. Doop, like so. So it did the same thing that a regular filter would do. Okay. Now remember, filters are non-destructive. So if I don't like it, if I want to turn this off, if I go to clear filter, it's back. Okay. So you're probably asking, well, why would I do this instead of just using a regular filter? Well, you have a lot more flexibility if you use advanced filtering. Let me show you. So what if I wanted to have residential and commercial? All I'm going to do is add a row to my criteria selection and add commercial to it. So now if I go back to advanced filter and I change my criteria area from that one row to 2 rows, now it gives me residential and commercial. Okay. So again, you could go through if you wanted, right? So if I clear this out and I turn my regular filters on, I could go over here and I could just check commercial and residential, and yeah, that would work. Okay. So it's a cost benefit thing for setup versus what you're getting out of it. This is where you start to get some big return on advanced filtering. So let me make another change. What if I'm interested only in residential builds that happen in June of 2018? Interesting, right? So I'm going to take this away and I'm going to say it again to make sure you get it. I'm looking for residential homes that are built in June of 2018. So the start date would be in the month of June in 2018. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add this second column for start date up here. And I'm going to do greater than or equal to June 1st, 2018. And I'm going to do less than or equal to June 30th, 2018. Now let's see what that can do for us. So I'm going to click advanced filtering. And I'm going to change my criteria again to select just these that we have up here. I'm going to click OK, and look what that did. So it gave us a between date filter for just residential. Okay. Now again, if you don't like it, I can simply go up and clear. So now there were some nuances that happened here that I want to hit on, and there's some details with advanced filtering that I want you to get. Now, the good thing about this is if you're familiar with database functions, the way you set up database functions and the criterion that go with them is the exact same way you set up the criterion that goes into advanced filtering. Okay, so I had to have a space up here that told it exactly what I'm looking for. Now, there are some rules that you have to follow when you set up this criterion selection space up here, and that's what I want to touch on. So the first thing is, even though Excel doesn't truly understand words, it can match. So the title of the field that you're working with has to match, right? So this title and this title have to match. Okay, so it's able to match this to this. Spelling does matter, but case sensitivity really doesn't. Although you should just, for good business practices, try to match the case. Okay. So you'll notice that I was able to use conditional operators, right? So I said I wanted anything greater than June 1st, 2018. I was able to do that. Okay. Now notice that we wanted a between. Okay. So I wanted anything in the month of June. So that would be greater or equal to June 1st, 2018, and less than or equal to June 30th, 2018. Okay. So if you're doing a between, when you set up your criteria space, you're going to have a second column right here that's got that same field in it, start date. So why would I do that? Why would I have start date and start date? That's because Excel reads just like you do, left to right, top to bottom. So here's what would happen. So if I took this away and I moved it down here, it's going to read this as 2 separate columns. Okay. So here's how it's going to read. It's going to say, give me residential homes that were built before June, or that have start dates that are greater than June 1st, 2018. That's what that first line says. Then this is going to say, and give me any residential type, because there's nothing here, right? But that space is still going to get read. That happens before June 30th, 2018. Okay. So the way you type this makes a difference. So this needs to go up here, and this needs to go here. So now when I do my advanced filter, it gives me exactly what we're looking for. But let's play around a little bit more. So what if I was looking for not just residential? What if I was looking for residential and commercial that happens in the month of June? Well, I could do that too. So I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to type in commercial. And I'm going to stop for a second and let's think. So the way this is written right now, it's going to say I want residential homes that were built in the month of June, right? So greater than or equal to June 1st, less than or equal to June 30th. Then it's going to say, give me commercial homes, but notice I don't have any criteria here. So what that's going to do is it's going to give me every commercial home, no matter when it was constructed, right? So let's see. Ta-da, like so. Here's commercial, but there's no filters put in for the month, okay? Well, if I wanted to make that change, I could. I'll just copy these, pop these in, and we're going to make that change. Okay. And while I'm in here, let me show you another thing that's pretty nifty. So you have the ability when you use the advanced filtering feature in Excel to, instead of filter in place, which is what generic filtering does, copy it to another location. So if I select copy to another location, okay, I want to make sure my criteria is correct, which it is. I can then say, hey, I want you to put that data somewhere else. So like I can jump over just, anywhere. So we'll jump up here. And when I click OK, see what it did? It outputted that extra data right over here. Okay, so the filter that I just set, copied it to a new location, which is right there. Now, copying to a new location is not limited. You can copy to another worksheet if you want to. You can't necessarily copy across something. So if there's already something there, you can't overwrite it. But you do have the ability to copy to another location as you see fit. Now, a couple other things you want to think about. When you copy to a new location, it is just that. It is copying. So there is no clear filter, right? Because your original data never changed. It found what you were looking for and it copied it over here. Similar to what the dynamic arrays filter function is going to do. Okay. So if you want to undo that, if you want that to go away, you either have to do Control Z to make it go away or just select the data and delete it, which is what I did. So that's kind of it. Advanced filters are really fun and they're really helpful if you've got multiple criteria that you want to select. So if you don't want to take the time to go through and select each one here and here and here and here and here, if you wanted to do something more advanced, even if you wanted to write a formula to calculate a value that shows up here and then filter off that, you can do it. Just know that it's going to do the same thing that the regular filter will do, but it'll do it all at once. It can be cleared. And the other advantage is it can copy whatever you find to another location. So that is it for advanced filtering. It's a short and sweet thing. I hope you learned to love it. It's been around forever. It's just not used very much. And if you're interested in doing something a little bit cooler with a newer feature in Excel, come back and see me and we'll talk about the filter function in dynamic arrays.